Hello, welcome back.
Hey everyone, welcome back. If this is your first time here, I'm a musician who's given myself a year to figure it out or go back to school and get an actual job. I have never really put a push on with my solo project because I've always been busy working on other things, usually for other people. So before I retire, before I decide that it's not happening and it's impossible, I'm going to find that out for myself. I'm on the road this week, not on tour, but I'm family vacationing, so the production value is it's a little bit more rough and ready, a little more grip it and rip it, a little more raw, a little more DIY. I'm recording this as a voice memo rather than speaking into my nice microphone. So here's what we did this week. We're starting with the weekend. On Saturday night, I had a rehearsal with my friend Jason's band. I'm playing bass with those guys. Sunday, I didn't really do much of note. Monday, I did a little shootout with this amp I'm thinking about buying and this powered speaker I had out on rental. Either one of these, you can plug a mic and a guitar into it and you can play solo kind of wherever. I've been renting this speaker to perform on the ferry, which you'll see that happened on Tuesday. But on Monday, I was thinking, well, where could this be useful? There's some new development on the waterfront here. They got these little busker stages and they have power outlets on them. So I thought I would go just check out the situation and see how viable that is if there's much traffic, etc. So that's what I did on Monday. And then on Tuesday, I had a gig on the Digby Ferry. It's a ferry that sails across the Bay of Fundy, the body of water here. You play 2 30-minute sets per direction and then you're done. It's a great gig in that it pays pretty decent and it's over early. And it's kind of a weird gig in that, like, it's not a stage. It's not the vibiest place to play. And also, I think more importantly, you're not really building a fan base. You're playing for whoever happens to be on the ferry. Most of the passengers, I would say, are not quote unquote my people. So anyway, what's good about it is it's an opportunity to really get honest feedback from people who have no reason to like you. You know, they don't have to be nice. They don't have anything invested. They didn't even expect to see you there. When you both get off the boat, you'll probably never see each other again. I don't know that I've really ever gotten any, online followers or anything out of it. So it's not a way to build a following or a fan base, but it is a way to get paid. And that's a kind of a common theme in the music world that I operate in. There's the gigs where you can actually kind of build a following, and they usually don't pay as well until you've got a following and name for yourself some leverage so you can sell tickets. And then there's the gigs that will pay you a guarantee, and those tend to be the ones where you could be anybody. They just want you to entertain the crowd that's already there. That's why they're paying a flat rate. People aren't there to see you necessarily. So it's a good place to go and work on the craft. Work on performance skills, stamina, can you play for 2 hours? Getting, like I was saying, honest reactions from strangers who have no reason to react in any particular way. Although it can be weird too. It can be demoralizing because it's not really your crowd and sometimes they don't respond and you don't really know why. But then you learn not to take that personally. It's good for thickening up your skin. Anyway, that's that. We did that Tuesday. And then the rest of the week, I've been on family vacation, touring around. The one thing I mentioned last week that needed to be addressed is online presence. I think I identified 14 places where the Sunnyside Uppers have a profile. I'm managing all the accounts. That's a full-time job, and it's not one that I really want. But, that's a place that somebody can find you online. If they land on there, what are they seeing? So as I sat down and thought about it, I identified a few purposes that this stuff has. There is talking to my people, finding new people, showing gatekeepers that this is an active project, and then there's fun/creativity. And that one tends to overtake the other ones for me. I often tend to treat it as an art project rather than a marketing thing, and I think as a result, I maybe get enjoyment out of it, but I don't get the marketing results I'd like to see. It's not a great way to talk to my people anyway. Stuff is too easy to miss. I mean, I was saying this to somebody the other day, I follow 1,200 accounts and I probably see 30 of them on a regular basis. It's just too easy to miss stuff. The mailing list is better than that, and it suits me better because it's direct. It's just less constant. So it can become an afterthought. Social media has to be fed every day. It needs constant maintenance if you're trying to grow there, which I'm not really. I would say I'm not actively. Would I like to? Yes, of course I would like to. Am I strategically posting in order to grow? Unfortunately, I'm not. Years of frustration have taught me that the best way to grow online as a musician is to do things in real life that make people want to keep up with you online. All we're doing here is trying to make sure that since these things exist anyway, if somebody lands on one, it's not making us look bad. So I identified, my list here that I wrote initially had 11 places where the uppers have a profile. I think I identified a few more. But anyway, under active social media, I have Instagram and YouTube. Inactive social, that's profiles I created, used for a while, don't really use them right now. I've got Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, you may know it as Twitter, TikTok, and Threads. Under streaming services, there are more because I use a distributor, but ones that I'm familiar with and or use myself, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Bandcamp, and SoundCloud. Now, these all act differently. SoundCloud I really only use to put demos up privately and share tracks around before they're finished, but it still exists. It's still something somebody could find. There's the official website, of course, and then there's the industry associations, Music New Brunswick and ECMA, East Coast Music Association. The former CEO of ECMA put up an interesting post yesterday talking about the finances, where does the money go? And it's kind of wild if you're an artist, because the whole thing, like so much in the music industry, runs on artists and particularly emerging artists, where they will give you a platform. You think if you get booked or you get showcased at one of these things, then you'll be set. But one thing she said was her salary was $100,000. Payouts to artists last year were $141,000, something like that. And they take in about $40,000 in application and membership fees from artists. So if you subtract the revenue that they generate from their members, from what they paid out to their members, they're actually spending less on artists than they are on their own CEO. And they're spending 6 times that amount on contractors to make the event run. And this is despite bringing in $1.2 million in investment every year. And I'm not really here to debate how they should be spending their money. I will be honest with you, I've played the event a bunch of times. I have attended a bunch more times. I've had some really great times there. In the last 5 years, I would say I have been questioning its value for me. And that's kind of the point, really. It's like, why do I need this? The answer for me is I have a profile on their website. I have a membership because it's included when you get a membership to Music New Brunswick, which for me is $25 a year. So I might as well. But I think also for a lot of us, it's, I don't know, I guess I should. Hopefully it'll help somehow. Will it? We're not sure. So it's marketed as, it's marketed to the public as an event to come and see the best in East Coast music. It's marketed to the musicians as a career opportunity. But in effect, who is the career opportunity for? It's really the people who make money putting on the festival. And there is a lot of that in the music business. Okay, anyway, back to online presence, social media. That, managing that many accounts is a full-time job, and it's not one that I particularly want. So we're just going to try to make sure they're all consistent. I'm not going to show you all of them. You can click around on the internet if you want to see what we did. I've been picking away at these, and I'm going to continue to pick away at them. I think I've once again treated it as an art project, but I think that's what this ultimately is. Gary V's advice has been ringing in my ears about how you want to make things contextual to the platform. So I've kept that approach in mind, where I figured if you're a user of this platform, I don't want to give too much away, but if you're a user of this platform, how do you engage with the internet? How do you engage with social media? And I tried to present it with that in mind. So we just want to ensure that a new person could land in any of these places and not get turned off. Ideally, they want to find out more. Okay, that's it for now. As you may be, I don't know if you're thinking these thoughts. Certainly if you were like my parents, you might be thinking these thoughts. Out of all the stuff I talked about, the only thing that made any money this week was the gig on the boat. And like we already established, that's not building a career for me. It's I'm generating revenue, but I'm not building a business off of that. The only way I can grow that is to just do more of it. I'm not going to get a bigger guarantee. I'm not going to draw a bigger crowd. Nobody is, choosing their crossing on the ferry because I'm playing. I'm there to entertain the people who are already there for other reasons. All right, so next week we are going to look at how do we start growing in the real world. I'm going to go out. I'm going to talk to people. See you then.